Archbishop. Reverend Ann Kennedy, thank you so much. From the United States, love to hear a perspective from North America on this question, major issues facing the community.
Well, when we left the Episcopal Church in 2007 and then lost our property and building in 2009, I remember saying to many different people, nobody was listening to me, but I said several times, I feel like we're jumping out of a frying pan and it's going to become a raging fire. And I do think, as we're seeing today, that the communion, not only Christians around the world, but the cultures in which we live have become a raging fire of anger against God. And so I'm happy to have been right and very, very sad about watching the church devolve and be deconstructed by so many. So I think there are probably hundreds of things facing the Anglican Communion today, but I can think of a few on a hand. For us in the West, the biggest one is the lie about the human person, the heresy about what constitutes a human person and who gives identity. How do you know who you are? That question is the central question of our time. It's a wrong view of the person has crept into almost every denomination and is really destroying both churches, congregations, and individual people. Lives are being destroyed by this lie. It's about human sexuality, but it's really much deeper than that. Secondly, in the West, we continue to export everything that we think is most important. It could be called colonization, but we are now trying to export this false view of the person to every corner of the globe. And the Global South is withstanding this lie, is speaking strongly against this lie, and I pray that that will continue. But I am, of course, anxious because the West is persistent in its colonization efforts of the world. After that, I think that in the U.S., we really don't have, because we have a lie about the human person, we have a very, very wrong idea about children. And we tell a great number of lies about children. I think the catechesis of children, the nurture of children, is one of our greatest challenges. We are exporting lies about children around the world through abortion and other kinds of, the trans ideology is really centered in on children for us. I think how the church deals with that issue is going to be really central for us. After that, those are the biggest ones. I think I'm worried about neo-paganism creeping into churches, different kinds of spirituality. I'm worried about how the state and the church are connected to each other. I'm worried about corruption, financial corruption. And most of all, I'm anxious that we in Gafcon come to be really the body of Christ. That as the world deconstructs identity, we are able to reconstruct not just our church, our individual churches, but our communion and the people inside of them, to put people back together rather than tearing them apart.
Right. Thanks so much. Sandy Elkin,